Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com. Now, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to break down another NFL team. I'm going to break down what I like, what I don't like, but stay tuned to the very end because I'm going to break down what I think they're going to do against Vegas. Now, when I say Vegas, I'm referring to Westgate. I downloaded Westgate app to my phone, something you can do as well. If you watch ESPN and they ever refer to Vegas, they're using Westgate. So all the stuff that you're getting off my video is from the Westgate app, and that's the same thing that ESPN uses. And I'm going in draft order. So Monday, I did the Arizona Cardinals. Today, I'm doing the San Francisco 49ers. Friday, I'm doing the New York Jets, which picked third in the draft. Now, starting off with what I like about the San Francisco 49ers, I like John Lynch's plan. He put the emphasis on having a really good defensive line. 2/3 of his draft choices in the first round. His first pick has been on the defensive line. And then I also like in 2018, his first pick was Mike McGinley, who's right tackle. So you're building from the inside out, and I think that's the right way to build a team. And now if you count Dee Ford, a guy that they signed this offseason, they have 5 first-round picks on that defensive line. 2015, it was Eric Armstead. 2016, DeForest Buckner. 2017, Solomon Thomas. 2019, of course, Nick Bosa. Dee Ford was also a first-round draft pick, of course, of the Kansas City Chiefs. So if you know nothing else about John Lynch, he was a member of the 2002 Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the NFL Network called that defense the 7th best defense of all time, and he's building this defense with the San Francisco 49ers the exact same way that 2002 Buccaneers defense was built. And it all starts with a great defensive line. And if you know anything about football at all, you need to have a good defensive line in order to have a good defense. So I really like the way he's building this team. The second thing I like is the free agent signings. Now, I already mentioned Dee Ford, but a huge weakness on this team was offensive skill talent. And so you went ahead and you got Jordan Matthews, which I thought was pretty good. Marquise Goodwin, if nothing else, he's going to add some speed. And then Tevin Coleman, you're reuniting him with Kyle Shanahan. So I really like that move because one thing about Tevin Coleman, you know exactly what you're getting because you practice him. Remember, Shanahan came from Atlanta. He was the offensive coordinator there. So reuniting Coleman with Shanahan, I thought was a really good offseason move. So you get some wide receivers, and then you get a running back to go into this unit, which really needed some help because the only player that really was effective last year, keep in mind a lot of that was due to injuries, but the only player that was really effective was your tight end who came out of nowhere with an NFL record-breaking season. So now, the third thing I like is that I already mentioned skill talent, but I like the draft. They went ahead and got Deebo Samuel and Jalen Hurd in the second and third round respectfully. Now, I mentioned that skill talent on the offensive side was a problem. So you go ahead and you address that issue in the draft. The one thing that both of these guys are really, really good at is run after the catch. Samuel, matter of fact, 30 years ago, he would have been a running back. Jalen Hurd actually played running back. I remember watching him as a running back in Tennessee. And both these guys, if nothing else, can run after the catch, which is a big principle of this offense. So I really like that. And, of course, Nick Bosa is a perfect fit. You know, this guy was the number 1 pick in the draft. Everybody thought he was going to go number 1. Then all of a sudden Kyler Murray decided he wanted to play football. And then, of course, if you watch my video, Cliff Kingsbury was public saying that if he had to draft anybody, he would draft Kyler Murray. So the best player in the draft, San Francisco 49ers get him, and he fits a perfect need. So, and then also in the 4th round, you get a punter, and you needed one. So it works out perfect. So just to recap, what I love how Lynch is building this team. He's building it from the inside out. He's putting a lot of draft capital and a lot of free agent talent into that defensive line, and that's how you build a great defense, is building at the defensive line first. I like the free agent acquisitions. Yeah, you needed some skill position talent. You got skill position talent. And then also like the draft. You drafted players that fit needs that are going to help you contribute this year. Jalen Hurd may be overdrafted, but the talent's there. So I really like the draft. I like the way the team's being built. And I like the free agent acquisitions. So the San Francisco 49ers are doing some really good things. Now, what I don't like. The San Francisco 49ers had a NFL record-setting 35-2 touchdown interception ratio against them. That's not good. And then I'm looking at the offseason acquisitions. I'm seeing Jason Verrett from the Chargers. They signed a one-year deal. I'm not seeing any big changes on the defensive line. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm seeing change on the defensive line. I'm not seeing changes in the secondary. When you give up an NFL record-setting touchdown to interception ratio and you don't address the secondary in free agency or the draft, that to me is not a good sign. Now, keep in mind, a good pass rush is always going to help your secondary, but you're going to tell me you couldn't find a corner or a safety that could come in and help your secondary out? That's something I think that was a real swing and a miss. Another thing that I don't like was that as a Chiefs fan, I got to see Dee Ford personally. And one thing about him is that in the AFC West, which is a passing division, he one big weakness he had was stopping the run. So now you got him in the NFC West where the Seahawks use an extra lineman. You got Todd Gurley with the Rams. You got David Johnson with the Cardinals. And not only are you asking them to stop the run, you're switching him from a linebacker to a defensive end and saying, oh, yeah, stop the run. Well, that's something he really struggled in a passing division as an outside linebacker. So now you're putting him in a running division, and you're asking him to go from outside linebacker where tight ends were able to block him and run against him, putting him down against a left tackle. That's not good. Now, he gave him $90 million, so you better hope the transition works. But bottom line, he really struggled against the run as an outside linebacker in Kansas City. I know, I watched him personally. Great pass rusher, couldn't really stop the run. Now you want him to play on the defensive line in a run division? Ooh. Ew. Oh, boy, it's going to be tough. So even though you're addressing the pass rush, you're ignoring the run game, and you're in a division where you really need to stop the run. So that to me is a huge red flag. The third thing I don't like about San Francisco 49ers is that this team's clearly better than the 4-12 team last season. I mean, keep in mind, you could have kept the same team, just made sure everybody was healthy, and you're producing a better product, obviously. And then you added free agents and draft picks, so you're going to be improved. But when I look at this division, did they really leapfrog the Seattle Seahawks or the Rams? I mean, let's just say you're a diehard San Francisco 49ers fan. Are you really better than the Seahawks or the Rams? Do you really believe that? Because I don't see it at all. And you've what was your record? It was 5-11 2 years ago, 4-12 last year. Are you really going to handle 3 straight double-digit loss seasons? Is Lynch and Shanahan going to stay around after 3 consecutive double-digit losses? I have a hard time seeing that. So in my opinion, it's a season that you need to have major improvement. It's do or die this year. And in a do or die season, I don't see you guys being any better than third in this division. You're not better than the Seahawks. You're not better than the Rams. So you're in a situation where there's not a lot of teams that keep the same general manager and coach after 3 consecutive double-digit loss seasons. Am I saying they're going to lose double digits? No, I'm not. But are they better than third in this division? I don't see it. So is 7 or 8 wins good enough to keep your job? Let me throw something out. When if you took this same roster and included Antonio Brown? You know, let's just say you didn't have Jalen Hurd and Dre Greenlaw, which is your 3rd and 5th pick in the draft, and you added Antonio Brown to this roster. Okay, let's throw out. Let's say you don't have Jordan Matthews either. So your receivers would either be Goodwin or Pettis, probably Pettis, Samuel, and Antonio Brown. Is that a playoff team? See, that team I could see making a wild card. That's a team I could see competing against the Seahawks and the Rams, but Antonio Brown went somewhere else. Now, keep in mind, I'm calling Antonio Brown one of the 2 or 3 best receivers in football. But you added Antonio Brown to this team, this roster, for a 3rd and a 5th. That could be a wild card team. This team, I don't see it. So now the advanced section. This is the advanced class. This is what I told you, stay tuned for. Now, here's the drill. The over-under for this team is 8 wins. Right now, they're both at -110, which means that you have to bet $110 to win 100 on both the over and the under. They're exactly the same. This is exactly how Vegas likes it because it doesn't matter which one you're betting. You're getting equal action on both sides. So, and Vegas will get this. I think it's like basically 7.5%, So Vegas is getting the juice here. And they're getting action on both sides here. So, Dan, which one do I like? There's a lot of unknowns about this team because if you had all the talent on that defensive line pan out, if Garoppolo plays like he's one of the top 12 quarterbacks in football and he's healthy for 16 games, sure, this team could be a 9-10 win team. But that's your ceiling, all right? And to me, when I look at this whole team, I like what he's doing. Kwon Alexander, I missed that, but he's a perfect middle inside linebacker for this defense. The defensive line, yeah, it's good, but it's young, and I'm not sure it's going to work together. Your starting wide receivers, Jordan Matthews, Marquise Goodwin, Deebo Samuel. That's what you're going out with? And you're in a tough division, so I wouldn't feel comfortable betting on this team either way, but if I was going to bet on this team, I would take the under. To me, this looks like a 6-7 win team. This looks like a team that, if I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan, I'm looking at 2020. I'm looking at, hey, let's get Hurd and Samuel some playing time. Let's get them acclimated to an NFL system, and let's let them grow with Garoppolo for next year, not this year. But that's just my opinion. When I look at the 49ers, I see a team on the rise. I don't see a team that's arrived. I wouldn't bet on them to win more than 8 games. So if I was going to bet on this team, I would bet the under. So listen, if you're already a subscriber to Andrews Football, you already know you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. All your wildest dreams are going to come true. But if you're new to my channel, you stumbled on this channel because you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, you're a fan of NFL talk, or you're just a fan of awesome hats, I got a great idea for you. There's this button right down here. I added this here. Check this out. Check this out. Also, take a look at some of my playlists here. Take a look. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wait till Friday. I'm going to break down the New York Jets, so I'll see you Friday.